storm clouds moving in. Whatever's gonna happen, it's about to begin. I remember what the drunk donkey told me when he said, son, don't fear. Mike's where the page light is about to appear. Then he's gonna tell you about the wind and the rain. Gonna tell you which way it's going, if it's gonna be a hurricane. Don't you worry about the news that they try to hide. Just click on Mike's page, Drunk Donkey Nationwide. Well, there'll always be some haters, but they don't understand that Mike's got a friend and 100,000 more across the land. Well, if you want to know it first and you want to know it right and you want to have time to plan, Drunk Donkey Nation tells your friend, Mike, he's your man. Then he's gonna tell you all about the wind and the rain. Gonna tell you if it's gonna be a storm or if it's gonna be a hurricane. Don't you worry about the news others try to hide. Look on Mike's page, Drunk Donkey Nation.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Here we go. I'll turn her down. That's our Andy Simmons tune. We love him. That's probably my favorite one. That's my kind of country. Somebody asked why we play music. Well, A, because we actually have an artist that wrote 5 songs for us. And 2, if we just had dead silence, everybody would be like, where's the sound? So we have to wait a few minutes to let Facebook do its thing and let everybody know. Otherwise, I get yelled at for starting too early. I get yelled at for music. I get yelled at for no music. I get yelled at when it rains and it's not supposed to rain, Louie. All right, so here's what's cooking. What's up, everybody? Louie's looking at me like, what are you doing, Dad? Who are you talking to? All right, so we'll say hi. Say hi, everybody. What's up, Karen? We got a bunch of people popping in Saturday. What's up, Brian? Thanks for the stars there, you star givers. That's a pretty cool thing Facebook's doing. Appreciate that. The birds are chirping, Dawn. Yep. The birds love to chirp. It's a rainy morning here in Oldsmar. Oh my goodness, it's pouring outside. My hopes and dreams of some of the models being wrong failed. Okay, you look like you're bored. Are you bored? You want to go back to bed? He is the most photogenic dog in the world. I was trying to get him famous. Money famous, like Miller Lite famous. I wanted him to be the new Spuds McKenzie dog. All right, so yeah, let's talk about Cristobal. All right, so everything's playing out as expected. The big question mark we had was how much rain Florida was going to get on Saturday. Well, so far, it's an arc alert, like Dennis Phillips says. We got hit hard overnight on the West Coast here, and there's more on the way. Big sloppy system here, but it's just waking up. This is great satellite imagery on the College of DuPage. You can clearly see the center of circulation. And let's see if we have a mesoscale. Let's see if they got one set up yet. They do. All right, so there you go. That's even cooler, man. That is like up to the minute. Let's see if we can go up 96 hours. Look at that, or 96 frames. Holy cow, that is like the most zoomed in satellite you're ever going to see on the internet. Right there. The coolest thing on the planet right there. There's the eye of Cristobal. Dry air all around, but it's got low level circulation. And we're starting to get a little bit of convection on the south side here. But we're getting dry air sucked in from the south side. Lots of convection over here off of the Yucatan. So all right, we're going to get right into it. So first and foremost, of course, we always thank our big Facebook Live sponsor. I always find a picture. That's my new tradition this year. So big thanks to ABC Fine Wine and Spirits out of Florida here. And how about a little screwball? That's our tropics this season. No, that's 2020 in a nutshell. Screwball. That's the year. This is the official whiskey of 2020. And who would have thought 50 years ago we'd have whiskey made out of peanut butter? So, but there you go, man. It looks awesome. I've tried it. It's good. So big thanks to them. Also, I had a Facebook fan, Tia Hoffman. Check this out. So they own a company. She owns a company, and I didn't open it yet. It's American Woman Coffee. Look at that. Small business owner unite, and she sent me a bunch of coffees to try. So that will be our little coffee for a few weeks here. So I'll shout out to her and them when I can. Of course, we got our Louis cup, so we're gonna get right into it. There's Louis. Don's drinking with me. So thanks, Tia Hoffman, American Woman Coffee, for sending me some goodies there. That's pretty neat. I always said this is like Little House on the Prairie, man, where you like get, like, instead of money, people trade chickens and, you know, I've had umbrellas mailed and coffee and beef jerky and cups, and so it's pretty cool. All right, so there's that. All right, let's go right into it. Let me get my chats up here and get rolling. So, yeah, what's cooking? Here's the official forecast. First and foremost, let me get this out of the way. So a couple days ago, we drew this funny little graphic showing an arrow spinning around. Well, there's a chance we could get the tail end of a front, whip up some low pressure in a few days, middle of the week, and 20% chance. It's going to hang around Bermuda. Doesn't look like it's going to make it to the East Coast. So we could get a little, well, we said we were going to get a little circle. We got a little circle. But nothing to stress about. This looks like a little rainmaker possibly for Bermuda. But that did pop up today, so if you're curious, no worries yet. Doesn't appear to be a worry down the road. Just maybe a little action for Bermuda. So there's that. The latest update on Cristobal, the hurricane hunters. Let's show that real quick. Hurricane hunters are flying around right now. Then we'll look at some satellite. We'll look at some models. We'll look at some projections. We'll look at anything you want to look at. But we're going to look at all the core stuff right now. So let's look at the hurricane hunters. They are right here. They are flying in. And they found a pressure of 992 officially is what the NHC posted. So that's a pretty big drop in pressure. You know, doesn't mean much. I mean, the effects are the same. The only thing about a lowering pressure is, the winds usually take time to catch up to lowering pressure. So winds are officially at 50. Always talked about this little window of opportunity as it nears landfall. If the pressures stay dropped and continue to drop, the winds will likely catch up around the center, and we'll have a little bit more of a ball storm. You know, wherever landfall is, that would be a little more impact for at least the center of the storm. The outer effects are going to be the same. We're going to show you that. The timing of the system has moved up a little bit. It's definitely picked up forward speed. So what that means is when we were saying impacts later tonight for the upper Gulf, it might end up being a little bit more earlier. And if you look at current radar, you can start to see some of this getting pushed in. So the timing has picked up a little bit. It's picked up forward speed. It's found that gap on the steering currents here, which is pretty fascinating. Over the years, we've learned more and more about steering currents. So it's got a big weakness here in the Gulf. We got a rotating clockwise high pressure basically to the east, and this is spinning clockwise, which is accelerating the winds, and it's helping push our system north quicker, a little quicker. Expected landfall still tomorrow evening, but it's moved up a little bit. So, you know, that's tricky. That's why you got to watch these things. I was hoping Saturday we'd have a clearer day in the upper Gulf, but it's inching towards maybe not. Everything's moved up about 6 hours, so unfortunately things are going downhill fast. Wide system, as of last night, the winds were 250-ish miles from center. All the winds obviously are to the east side, but again, that's why we have tropical storm warnings into Florida, is because the winds are extending well east of center, and that remains the same. Another important fact here is we have storm surge warnings in place, so that's pretty significant. our storms spiral counterclockwise. We're expecting a landfall just west of New Orleans area. Unfortunately, that means the counterclockwise winds are going to be pushing up into basically Biloxi down to the Mississippi. So we do have a warning. We have watches in place here in parts of Florida. That's our secondary tail, our bands, our squall. It's going to be pushing rains up into water, not rains, but Gulf water, into the Big Bend area. So morning spinach. Good morning, everybody. What's up, Whitney? Yeah, man. Thank you, Kelly. I do it a lot. I was a little tired last night. I was definitely dragging. I wasn't my normal goofy self. I just saw cousin Jeannie. What's up, Jeannie? What's up, Sherry? Panama City Beach tomorrow at 9:30. Yeah, there's a chance there'll be delays. Yes. I mean, all this is happening later today and through tonight and tomorrow. All right, so let me say hey when I can. There's Katie. What's up, Katie? Our emoji girl. What's up, Casper? What's up, Kimberly? Yeah, a little bit of trend to the west, I guess. The latest GFS and Euro. Again, the effects aren't going to be. Our spaghetti models are very tightly clustered. Here's your latest on tropicaltidbits.com. Look at that. So, extreme confidence on landfall at this point, so no big surprises. This thing's moving pretty fast. It's going to get sucked up with an approaching weakness over the middle U.S., so it's going to end up in Canada, eh? It's going to Canada. Look at it. Where the hell is he going? Look at Cristobal's getting the hell out of Dodge. He's all the way up here to he's going to Antarctica. Or where's Antarctica? Is that the bottom of the world or the top? He's going to the top of the world. I went to college. I know my geography. I know there's no such thing as Mississippi. That's what everybody always says. Nobody talks about Mississippi. I say Mississippi a lot. Here's some infrared satellite real quick. Really big convection here. I had a couple people email me from the Yucatan, and they wanted me to stress the importance of how Cristobal was not your typical tropical depression storm. There was a lot of wind down in that area, a lot of rain, a lot of videos showing that, and so don't get caught off guard saying this is just a tropical storm, because as we're going to see here, when this sucker gets into wherever landfall decides to be, we're going to have a pretty hefty ball of convection with storms to watch. So I'm trying to cover everything quick. These are pretty important stats here. 3 to 5 foot surge, not the end of the world, but definitely if you're in low-lying areas, 3 to 5 foot, nothing to turn your back on. We had a full moon yesterday, 2 to 4 foot even here in Morgan City. So it's pretty hefty little surge considering it's early June and tropical storm. Another important note. We talked a lot about this yesterday. It was kind of baffled me yesterday. We didn't have any we didn't have any storm prediction warnings yesterday. Remember I was showing it. I'm like, well, we're gonna get. You're always got a threat. You don't have to be a weather expert to know that we have a threat with tornadoes with tropical systems. So anyway, they did update it. This is for tomorrow. I do caution, though, don't read into this saying tomorrow. We're going to start to have squall lines later today into tonight. It could be overnight hours, so we'll show some future radar. But anyway, dark green and yellow here, tornado possibility, as we always get squalls off the Gulf. And this is the primary threat. So that's something to watch. For sure. And of course they talk about it. Tropical storm expected to make landfall Sunday evening. They're going to have to update that. Sunday more afternoonish. Based on the shear and the humidity. Rotation definitely possible with our bands. So let me turn off my ringer. Hey, we got 3,000 people, man. That means everybody's bored on Saturday morning. All right, so let's talk weather some more. It's raining very hard again. God, I was really wish casting more than yesterday. I joked about it a lot. Bobby will quote me. I think she did quote me. I laughed. I said, if you have an arc, you better hang on to it, Florida, because the app. Where the heck did the radar go? I got so many links on this thing. Don't tell me. Oh, it's right here. It's just not showing. Okay, so here's the current radar in Florida, and it's a juice box, man. I mean, we have had tremendous amounts of rain. So the Euro kind of blew it. The GFS kind of blew it. Actually, ironically, the Hurricane Center last night had higher rain chances for Florida. We actually were all in the yellow. They backed it down to green. I hope they weren't listening to me. Because I've already had 1.4 inches this morning here in Oldsmar. So we've already had almost 2 inches. And there's a lot more coming. Especially along the coastal areas. South Florida, this did play out. This morning was your highest chance down in the Keys. All this is pulling north. So at least the South Florida folks will get it a little bit dry here the next day. We're still going to have that threat for squalls, and we'll have to show some future radar as we go forward. So let's look. What can we look at? Let's look at current. What the pattern? Let's look at the dry air. Show exactly. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's look at the GOES satellite. I like that. I like this map here. Look at this one. So here's our blobs and squalls. We'll leave it up here for a second. Hey Sharon, very little chances for South Florida winds. You're going to get winds out of the southeast today and maybe the south tomorrow as everything, races into our system. Boy, we got a lot of chat people. So there's a look. I tell you what, this isn't concerning, but like I said, the folks down in Yucatan, a couple videos. I had an email this morning. Michael's emailed me, fan down there. Thanks, Michael, if you're watching. He said, just listen, man. He said he's lived in North Carolina his whole life, and he said this was a pretty strong tropical storm. So, this little band here, this is what we'll be watching. There's two different areas of this storm that would concern me to watch. We're going to have our normal band, and we're starting to get a little convection. I'm never a hyper, trust me. Bless you, Sarah. But we're getting a little bit of, storms around the south side. Right now we have dry air, which I'm going to show you. So that's a good sign that the core is not conductive right now for like some serious rapid intensification or storms. But a lot of the models are still showing this thing tightening up a little bit before landfall. So we're going to watch landfall, and we're going to watch this little guy here. And sometimes these little guys here tomorrow impacts wherever this thing decides to stay together, because we're going to have dry air intrusion here in this middle part. So we got storm, dry air, storm, and we're going to have these little squall lines, sporadically around. But so we're going to watch this little guy. This is our big blobby squally guy. We'll see what that does. So let's look at the dry air. So this is pretty cool. We watched this thing do a lot of things it was supposed to do. So a system that hangs out over land, the centers get disrupted and they get wider. And when this emerged over water yesterday, the 500 millibar middle verticity was definitely wide and elongated, and the lower center circulation was a little wide, and then they didn't match up. So we had a big sloppy center. And typically when you have a big sloppy center, you get these wide subtropical type setups, which this would probably not be subtropical because it's got a warm core, but wider sloppy centers produce wider sloppy tropical systems to the east. So it's pretty cool to see it happen, because that was the theory. If this thing hung out over land, it would turn into a wide, sloppy system. So, little tidbit for down the road when we have this happen again. We can all act smart. This is the one graphic that I kept looking at. I posted it this morning. This tells you it's going to rain. You know that one meme? The dude, it's going to rain. It's going to rain. It's going to rain. That's a lot of moisture in the atmosphere. And that's why we had 20, 30 inches rain down the Yucatan. This is not to say this is coming to Florida. It's just right now it's juicing things up pretty big time, and it's pretty hard not to rain when you have that much moisture in the atmosphere. And here we'll look at Whitney's favorite graphic. This is our super duper animated water moisture map, and it shows the spin in the atmosphere. And look at, see, it's still, we showed this last night, but it's definitely still pulling this Central America gyre juice. And look at it, it's actually pulling juice here. So, you know, a lot of juice coming up. Look at it, we got energy coming up from Pacific. We got energy coming up through the Western Caribbean, and it's all part of this moisture. And you can start to see the dry air a little bit here coming in off the Yucatan, kind of getting in it. But you know, again, we're not talking about a flooding event like Harvey. The good news, at least if there is any good news, well, good news is it's not a major hurricane, but the good news is it's moving fast, and by Tuesday it's going to be up here in Arkansas, hanging out with Clinton and my buddy Brian Shoemate up in where the hell does he live at? Not Pine Bluff, Fort Smith, Arkansas. So anyway, it's not going to stall. That's a good thing. So if it did stall, oh boy, we'd be talking a lot more than what we're showing here. So here's the official rain map again. Now, obviously, your heaviest concentration here is Mississippi and I said Mississippi. I should get A star for Mississippi. So there's the big rains. Another thing I need to show real quick is the flood map potential, and obviously today this has been upgraded to include more of Florida. Yesterday we didn't have any yellow. Today we have a lot of yellow. These are chances for flooding today. That's this heavy rains. And then tomorrow it gets really rainy for the upper Gulf, and definitely where landfall decides. So there's that. That's cool. Here's your 24-hour rains. Obviously have increased more into Florida. 24-hour rains. 5-day rains. You can see the heavy concentration. There's that. Tornado potential, and they're not showing any for Florida as far as Storm Prediction Center goes. Now today we do have a dark green marginal. This is for today. This is today's weather. And we'll see what they say for Florida. Let me read it. I haven't really read it yet. Middle Gulf Coast region. Where would that be? Middle Gulf Coast. Oh, that's up top. Well, they do say low tornado risk. Squalls out on the water, remember? So there is a slight risk for Florida today. Slight risk. Mainly, you can read it here. It talks about it. It says supercells today into tonight with gusty winds or low tornado risk possible, mainly across central, southwest Florida peninsula. So there you go. You read it here first. There's a itsy bitsy chance for tornado spin up, and that's because of our squall lines. Big juicy stuff coming in. How they're going to develop, we'll have to wait and see. Like I said, it can rain anytime, any place. That was my new line this year. Expect rain anytime, any place. I was being selfish and was hoping it wouldn't rain until later tonight, so my Emily could play softball. But she's going to wake up. I guarantee she's going to cry. She was so excited. Here's the current winds. Big kidney shape. Big wide wind field. So there's that. All right, let's look at some HRR. So the HRR has done phenomenal with rain predictions. So let's look at the next few hours, and then we'll look at some more animated maps, and we'll look at some winds, and we'll look at some other stuff, and then we'll look at some other stuff and other stuff. Here's a good map. The HRR is a great map. The mesoscale model that updates every hour. It seems like it's right more than it's wrong. This crushed my hopes of a dry Saturday last night, if you were watching. What about Gatlinburg Ray? I don't know. this is not going to affect it. I don't know. We got NASCAR tonight too, or tomorrow in Atlanta. So here's like I said, this model crushed my hopes and dreams for a dry Saturday, and it was true. 10 a.m. pretty much spot on. So here's the rest of the day. Here's there's our South Florida. The chances are obviously going to get less as our storm passes to the east. But so tonight 4 o'clock. Then we got another round coming in 7 o'clock. Then we got another. Here's the band. Here's 2 a.m. I'm telling you, the models they're going to have to catch up. This thing might make landfall even quicker than they're expecting. But this is a very interesting setup right here. 3 o'clock in the morning. Something we'll have to watch. Now here's Cristobal, New Orleans, 3 o'clock in the morning. This was always correct. The only thing that got blown was the rains reaching the upper Gulf are already kind of inching in. But the overnight risk tonight is definitely, here's 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock. So we got this band here. We got the squall. We got the main blob here. And that's something we're going to have to watch. Overnight storms developing, pushing in. Tampa possibly 5 a.m. That's a pretty healthy looking setup there. So if that does play out, that could get strong overnight for Tampa. But models have been all over the place. Now here's the main system here. You can see the actual bands that you normally see with tropical systems. We're going to have dry air likely in between these two sections. But there's our main storm early in the morning, 8, 9 o'clock, starting to get the big bands into New Orleans, Mississippi. So, could be a later today at landfall, 5 o'clock, official landfall later. But look, this is noon tomorrow. So definitely two areas of concern, obviously, is going to be all that juice down in off of Yucatan and then the main center. So interesting. That was an interesting model to look at. All right, what else can we look at? Yeah, Karen, we could have roughs overnight. Here's Hurricane Hunters on Tropical Tidbits. Let's see. It looks like the data's stuck again. They had last night. One of their missions did the same thing. They lost data. So that's a bummer. Hasn't updated in a little bit. So hopefully it'll catch up. No internet down there. Catch up. Weather after the storm. Loop Eddie, Stephanie. Yep. Yeah, well, okay, let's look at some stuff. All right, so we'll talk about future stuff in a little bit. But this is interesting. I'm gonna keep my eye on this. Obviously, overnight storms. Even though the Storm Prediction Center is saying tomorrow, I would definitely be alert tonight as these squalls come in off the water overnight hours, and then the big stuff really starts to roll in the morning time as we get potential landfall. Later in the day tomorrow. The NAM is not as aggressive on radar as reality, but we can still see here's 2 a.m. So it's already starting to show the same thing. 2 a.m. possibilities, 2 a.m., 2 a.m. So, again, any time, any place, but we can expect some big hefty squalls rolling in overnight, and then the big stuff for Louisiana and Mississippi comes in later in the day. And this one tightens it up pretty good. You can see it. This would be technically 5 o'clock p.m. So it's going to appear, it's going to be odd because the landfall is going to be several hours behind what you think is the eye because it's a wide system. So. And, there is this brief window. If it does close off its circulation, we're down to 992 millibar. Now, listen, I'm not hyping nothing, but we had a pretty good drop in pressure. It's not going to be a Michael. It's not going to be, but, if it got down to 989 and the winds catch up, it could technically be a hurricane, There's been 989 hurricanes in the past, so not that the effects are going to be the same regardless. So don't let that even remotely change your seriousness on the storm. So, many locals down that way probably are laughing. They're like, it's a tropical storm. Man, it might just be that. But, if you're living on the coast and we got heavy duty rain flooding here, possibility here, it could be a mess. Just let's be glad that it's moving fast, because otherwise we'd be looking at a lot more rain, and that's not good. So again, we do have a storm surge warning in effect. A warning. Biloxi, Gulfport down to Mouth, Mississippi. That's because of our counterclockwise flowing system. All right, so I guess let's look at some individual models real quick. Let's look at the latest GFS real quick. This is on Tropical Tidbits. Again, the little yellow dot out here we're not going to pay too much attention to, so we're going to focus everything on Cristobal right now. Cristobal, I almost said it right. I almost spelled it right. I have not messed up the spelling yet today. All right, so here's the GFS. 991. It's already 992, so they're going to have to models have to get a little different data. But still, there's the big hefty landfall tomorrow afternoon, night. Here's a secondary round of bands. So yeah, it's everything we're saying. This is technically tomorrow morning, so there's potential bands. So all that's playing out. Here's the big band. This is overnight hours, just like we showed. So expect a rough, rocky night overnight in the Panhandle and possibly in the Florida Peninsula here. And then it goes on out of here. See that? Look at that. This is Monday. This sucker's going to get on out of here. And then people ask about down. All right, so the long range. All right, real quick. All right, so let me go back to Tropical Tidbits, show you what's going on, and then I'll spin off in another direction. I spin off in all these directions like hurricanes. What's up, Jim? Keep my mouse away from the chat window. Don't you tell me where to put my mouse. No. Jim's got wood. He's offered me his wood before, right, Jim? Inside joke. Yeah, Crystal Bell, ball. I always put the A before the O on I don't know why. I'm so afraid for the I name. I don't. I would just say I, like a pirate. The I storm will be the I pirate. Christina, yeah, video games. I know. I hate it, man. I mean, not okay. So obviously the joke is for softball at least every weekend. I love the meme. Every weekend during quarantine, sunny and blue skies. They open up the softball fields, and I thought I had an inside connection with the weather gods. Obviously, I don't. All right, so here's the weather pattern for the week real quick. So we got a high pressure coming across. That little bit of bend, remember we talked about it? If the speed of the storm speeds up, it's going to bend a little later. And it's still going to do its little bend. It's just it's going to be a little more bend after landfall. Here's that high pressure to the north. This is obviously over the weekend. So we got a weakness coming. This is a front coming. So this is what happens next week. Everybody asking about the weather next week real quick. So our system is going to find this weakness between the high and the low, and it's going to get on out of here, right? There's our next week's low pressure system, which is this right here. So there's our system saying bye-bye. And on Wednesday, this is Wednesday morning. There's that front that Cristobal got absorbed into. So Wednesday, we can have a weak front Wednesday, and then we got some tropical energy from a wave down here. It's going to kind of merge into it. We talked about that. It's still showing up. So the rain chances do increase Wednesday and Thursday across the south and the east because of that front and that tropical wave. Nothing huge. Maybe there's Thursday night. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, there's just increased rain chances as our front finally gets on out of here. So that's why the rain chances are up. It's a front. It's going to take its time to get through the week, hopefully gone by the weekend. Maybe some lingering rain Saturday in Florida, but that's this week's weather. And a little bit of Cristobal DNA will still be hanging out in that. So, hey, thanks, MT. Appreciate you. Hey, thanks for being a supporter, man. You guys rock. Hopefully all the supporters know where our little chat room is. I used to post, if you hashtag supporter, then only supporters see the post. But then I would post and I'd only see 10 or 15 people would see it. So I felt like I was talking to an empty room. So we got this cool little community. I don't even know how you get into it, but there's a chat room that you should be able to find if you're a Facebook supporter. One of the little perks for $4.99. That's less than you tip your bartender that you might not even meet in your whole life again. You tip more, and I'm here every day, taking away my drinking time. So anyway, look for the community section. It doesn't load very good. There it is. Weather page supporters. There's our room. It's a little chat room. I do post in here. So anyway, that's it for that. All right, let's look at some more models. There's a GFS. Let's look at CMC. And it's all the same. Everything's the same. Timing is the only thing different now is the timing is sped up a little bit. And, there it is. All right, so here it is. Here's overnight. Same thing. Big old blob. We don't know where this blob's going to be, but it's going to be somewhere tonight, Saturday night. And then tomorrow morning, boom, look at that. Early morning, so could be a little rocky in the panhandle. Still, look at that. Boom, look at that. Big old action tomorrow morning. And our center starts to make landfall a little earlier according to CMC. So there's that. There's our secondary bands. So here, this shows our bands. So tomorrow there's our potential secondary bands that could impact past the storm. Sometimes these things hang out. There's our system tomorrow night, and we can still have some lingering rain train bands pulling up. So that's just something to watch. So typical. There you go. All right, so no changes there. So nothing. We don't really have anything. They upped their arrival times Saturday p.m. So earliest tropical storm force winds Saturday 8 p.m. tonight. That's been very consistent. Obviously, let's take a look at Windy. Windy's a cool sight. Here's current look at the Euro, and we'll just fast forward it. This is what it's going to look like. Biggest winds. Here's 8 p.m. tomorrow. So the Euro's slower. It's going to have to. I think that's a little slow. But anyway, tomorrow afternoonish, tomorrow evening. A few hours. Usually these things. Man, once these things start speeding up, they don't slow down. Now maybe it'll slow down with that approaching high to the north. Maybe, but not a stop. So impacts are still the same regardless. So here's your big winds. That's why we had the surge threat. This is tomorrow afternoonish, 5 p.m. Rain, wind gusts stronger, obviously, going around. Somebody asked about South Florida winds. Today might be your most winds today, but tomorrow or tonight, green is light winds. So these are your hefty core winds. Storms. So here's 9 p.m. tonight. So the GFS or Euro's already predicting some storms tonight, which is on par with everything. Even possibly tonight into New Orleans. So again, this afternoon, start expecting storms to develop along the upper Gulf. And then overnight, there's that blob. So, pretty good storms overnight are very confident. And they could linger into Florida. Here's that other line we've been showing a lot. This is overnight. So Euro's on it. There's that secondary line. 3 p.m. tomorrow. Storm. So the heavy stuff, obviously, at Landfall Sunday. This is tomorrow night. So there's that one. We can look at GFS. About the same. So look at that. GFS and Euro are almost the same as far as positioning on 9 p.m. tomorrow. So either A, they're gonna change a little bit that you would think, because the official NHC landfall now has been moved up a few hours, about 6 hours. So anyway, there's Sunday 9 p.m. But I think the timing of that's a little slow. I think we're looking at more afternoonish, early evening. But nonetheless, GFS and Euro are really close as far as that goes. Very close as far as having a line of storms here tomorrow, overnight. Here's the GFS showing storms. Euro showing storms. So you get the idea. Another good map here we can see. Actually, on another site that I got, Whitney's going to be in the eye. What else is cooking? I don't mean to go off on tangents, but Southwest. What's up, Jane? Where's Mississippi at? It's true, man. Everybody always talks about Louisiana, and then they go right to Alabama or Florida. And then I got conscious of it. I was talking about hurricane in North Carolina one time, and I mentioned Mississippi just to say Mississippi. All right, so here's a cool shot. This is animated IR satellite from. We'll show the GFS and the Euro. It's sloppy looking, but here's that dry air. Oh, and I was going to show it on real time, but let's show it on real time. Then we'll go back to future. So real time, we have this happening right now. Let's click. I'm a clicking fool. So this is real time. Fascinating to watch. Tropical systems spin counterclockwise. And all this is trying to come in counterclockwise. So, it's not really affecting too much yet because it still has a pretty juicy, moist field around center. But ultimately, it could make its way in between and actually split it up. So, our big blob and our main squall here are going to get a divorce, and they're going to be separated soon. And we'll see who takes the kids, or the car, or the dog. And we just wrote a country song. Andy, are you listening? We can talk about hurricanes and divorce. All right, so there's that. This is exactly what the Euro and the GFS are showing. So this is overnight. This is. So here's like midnight, 1-2 in the morning tonight. You can see that coming around. Main convection, secondary line. It's kind of hard to see on the satellite, but you get an idea. Here's tomorrow landfall. Little dry pocket storms. Nothing to the west. As we said, state line westward, you're probably not even going to get it. You probably have blue skies. And then we can go to tropical tidbits. He's got GFS on that one. We can look at that. We can look at the simulated IR. And same thing. This is tonight. And I don't know, about right here. You can kind of get the idea. This is tomorrow morning. Big old dry air. Everything's pushing to the east. So enough of that. So tomorrow, if this thing moves up a little quicker, Florida, you might get a little break, but I don't know. I'm afraid to say that. There's too much juice in the air. South Florida, yes. South Florida, you guys will be enjoying a better day than everybody else. That's for sure. So there's that. Let me see what you guys are saying now. Mom and Dad get out of prison. It's a David Allen Cole song, man. I was drunk the day my mama got out of prison. Right? Pensacola, well, yeah, I mean, it's going to get nasty overnight. Rains are inching in. I got a radar here from Louisiana. We've already had one little skinny line. Remember that line that came through last night? What was up with that? We were watching it. We had like a little funny little bow echo thingy coming down through Mississippi. And there's our first little outer band. Look at that. The band's back together. So Mobile and Biloxi got a little taste of what's coming. Look at that. Look at that. A little bit. Just a little bit. Didn't ruin nothing yet. But Upper Gulf, a little bit. See, that's what I mean, man. Holy cow. Everything got all messed up today. Cristobal is a rainy downer. Not only did it dump feet of rain in the Yucatan and Central America, it has tricked all the models, and like I said, blobs and squalls. We'll see what it can do. We'll see if it makes a run toward the H status. All right, hey, what's up, Billy Joe? How's it going? Lost me. I'm still here. Gulf Shores. So let's take a look. I always pull up where everybody asks so we can all learn geography together. And then we can get really in depth. So look at that. Gulf Shores. You are in a heart of it. So you know, tropical storm warnings are for you. You're definitely going to get rough and rocky tonight. So yeah, you got a lot to watch. You're right on that edge of Storm Prediction Center for tornadoes tomorrow. So right on the edge tonight, tomorrow. So yeah, you're right on that edge. You know, the only thing about where you're at, we got this secondary big blob of storms. There's probably going to be a little pocket of somebody that doesn't get much, but it's impossible to even predict that out. But we're definitely going to get that secondary squall somewhere. People here along the West Coast, we're going to get it, and you're going to get bands, no doubt. You're going to get something. You're going to get some definitely windy, squally weather here starting later today and through the night. So yes. Lake Pontchartrain, yeah, you're right in the heart of it too. I mean, we got high flood chances, lots of rain, wind will be coming in from the east. So anyway, Richard, are you here? Everybody's asking what we talked about. I feel bad when a storm's outside of Florida because I really don't know all the little individual. Hey, what's up, Stephanie? You made it today. So there's that. All right, let's look again at current radar. See what's cooking with Florida, because that's really the big rains. We got a southeast radar here we can look at too. This cool windy map that's live look. Got a new advisory coming out at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 Central. Let's take a look at live visible satellite. No lightning around the center is a good sign, but a lot of lightning here in the outer band. Here's our center. You can see it. Void of any convection, but spinning away right here. A little bit of convection building on the south side, but it's not close to center. This dry air is definitely working its way in. So no rapid intensification, just slight intensification. So, yeah, Whitney, we've been watching this storm since before the coronavirus outbreak. It was the 20th. I looked back one time. The 20th is the first post that I made about this. I didn't predict it, but still. I mean, the models predicted it. But look at that. We've had forever, 2 weeks plus. And we probably talked about it before that. Before Memorial Day. You believe that? What's up with that? Hey, Stephanie. Yeah, well, it's right over the top of the loop eddy right now. You know, we got a little strengthening. Hey, nothing to stress about. It's just fascinating to me because, A, it's getting to the part of the Gulf that we've seen blobs and squalls. I'm curious. Like, look at this guy. You know, we'll see what it starts to do. But all this down here, you know, it's pretty healthy looking. Look at this white tops forming. Cold cloud tops popping there in the last few frames. Eventually, all this kind of pushes north, along with our Cristobal. So if this stuff stays together, again, like I said, overnight we could have some surprise storms. Could be as early as this evening, but I just hate overnight threats. But we could have them pretty much. This is going to affect Florida. This is going to affect everybody else: Alabama, Mississippi, and Louisiana. Texas, very, 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 very little. Hey, Stephanie, I did see that video. It's pretty cool. I can look for it. It's on Twitter somewhere. Loop eddies we're going to show. Water, again. All right, so again, something I did learn on this was, luckily this is not a Michael. Otherwise, people would be mad. We don't want a Michael, but I was on everybody else's bandwagon saying the waters aren't hot enough yet for any sort of major hurricane. But there's a cool site that talks about maximum hurricane intensity. And it's deceiving because it's not showing you the current storm. All it's saying is if all the variables were correct, like shear and dry air, you could potentially support a 4 or a 5 in the Gulf, given the current state of the water. There's no facts to this, there's no science. It's just a formula based on current. So it could, this one's not, but could. So I just thought that was an interesting tidbit. I don't know how accurate it is. I mean, but it says you can have, we can have down to 930 pressure. Not on this storm. So anyway, that's linked. So the water temps are definitely warm enough. The loop eddy, it's right here, kind of like almost where it's going. So if the loop eddy theory is true, then the eye of Cristobal is almost nearing this loop eddy right now. And this is a little bit more warm water that he can tap into. It's a spinning break off of the main Gulf Stream. They break off like rivers. And then you get this, and they float around. It's so weird, man. Groovy. This thing will end up drifting around. Harvey had one over here. Katrina had one. Michael had one. So they're just little hot pockets of energy that storms can tap into. All right. Anyway. Don. Okay. Well, when is it? When is the tournament? North Carolina coast. I don't see anything yet to stress about. That system that is brewing out there by the Bermuda should not come close enough. And if it did, it'd be later in the week, Thursday, Friday. So let's look at storm surge, and then I'll look at Carolina because I want to show the storm surge map. So here's the official experimental storm surge forecast. Your watches and warnings are under it. I actually have a link here, potential storm surge map. This isn't National Hurricane Center, but it is based on given intensity of the NHC track in the expected landfall. You can look at potential storm surge for your area. So I have that linked. Who could see what. And it's pretty high. Areas that are prone for surge are going to get 3 to 5 foot officially in this general area right here. So that's linked on my site. If you want to look at the experimental areas that could be affected, Pascagoula. So there's that. So a lot of surge obviously here going into Lake Pontchartrain area. I am not too familiar with this area, so I don't want to act like I know. But if you click on a spot, you can at least get, more detailed information on each little spot. So it's a great site, 4 foot here. So there's that. All right. So let's look at Carolina weather real quick. This little system that's out there in the Atlantic brought up a couple, showed it, the front coming through. So here it comes down around. This is during the week. And So the euro is not even really doing much. So this is the area the NHC highlighted, right here. This is Monday, Tuesday, tail over front. It's just going to hang out, meander out here. Looks like a little face right there looking at you. So that's the new NHC spot. A little window to maybe organize. But as far as midweek goes, there's nothing for the Carolinas, which is good news. Maybe a little bit toward the end of the week, the next front. So if anything, our next front comes down. This is the same front that's pulling up Cristobal. So there is a chance later in the week we could have a little frontal energy, a little bit. So the Carolinas, it does appear Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday are nice. Friday or Thursday night. But if you're talking off the water, it'd be more Friday. So Thursday night, Friday is the best shot here as our front kind of lingers. So Friday, Saturday look a little rough off the coast of Carolina as far as rains go. Doesn't look like it's a low pressure. It's just a front. So hopefully it's nothing that bad. So no organized systems, at least to say, which is good. And that's good because we have a high pressure right now. This is high pressure midweek Tuesday. So beautiful weather over the Carolinas, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Here's our front coming in, and by Friday, I don't know. The winds don't look that bad. So as far as boating goes, nothing too bad. Just winds. Maybe the winds pick up ahead of the front. You can see that here too. As you always get winds ahead of a front. These are 10, 20 mile an hour, 10 miles an hour. So nothing serious. Put it to you that way. No organized system to stress about, if that makes sense. So, what's up? Bath water. I love bath. 88 degrees. Hey, what's up there, Virginia friends? Paul, Jeanette. You're on Fort Pickens Road. Not sure where that's at. But I know Pensacola is going to get storms throughout the day today. They're going to be very random today, but they're going to start building up in intensity tonight. And then overnight hours is a good chance we're going to have storms across all of upper Gulf, especially Florida Panhandle. Through the night, there's a good chance. And then, of course, tomorrow as our storm approaches. So it's a hit or miss through tomorrow. So we'll see how this thing, organizes. Just got to watch out. The main things that have been changed. Storm Prediction Center now is obviously highlighting tomorrow's threat for potential tornadoes. This is going to actually be more early morning, overnight, tonight. So the storm threat definitely don't read tomorrow and think it is tomorrow, but it's really starts tonight. So pay attention overnight in the upper Gulf tonight. And then definitely, obviously, tomorrow morning, things get very close. So that's kind of new. Storm surge warning's the same. The juice is definitely juicier than expected into Florida. So the rain chances are definitely going to beat some predictions as this still funnels in. Already getting a band of rain here in the upper Gulf. Storm's moving a little quicker now. That's going to put landfall a little ahead of the models. We could be looking at afternoon landfall tomorrow. Or tomorrow's Sunday. Today's Saturday. Tomorrow. So landfall could be a little quicker. I bet you the GFS and Euro are going to have to catch up. Because they're showing tomorrow night landfall. NHC's already up there. It's the 1 p.m.-ish. So, speeding up. So, again, these storms are going to start reaching the coast quicker than expected. And we're already seeing that. So, expect a rocky night up here. No doubt. Hey, Tricia, just normal. We're going to have squalls throughout the day today, heavy rains throughout the day on the west coast of Florida. We're going to have some possible storms overnight coming in off the Gulf. And we could also tomorrow. There's we got this the tails, the squall, the eastern side. All this stuff here can produce squall lines that could potentially impact Florida Peninsula tonight into tomorrow. So this is the area. Anybody basically Panama destined eastward, definitely be watching this for tonight and tomorrow. So there you go. All right, so we're going to watch convection around the center. We'll see if we get any storms developing near center. And if we start seeing some lightning, that'll indicate the possibility that our storm is trying to at least strengthen some. Don't see it yet. Winds are still at 50 officially. Pressure's dropped. So, a couple little storms, clouds. This is where the center is. A few little storms are popping, but we do have dry air coming in from the backside. So it's fascinating to watch. So, outside chance this thing will close off its moisture here, and strengthen a little bit. Usually pressures drop before the winds. So they might bump the winds up a little bit. Looks like the Hurricane Hunter information is not transmitting, at least tropical tidbits. Let's see another site we have. Cyclonic here, and let's see what he's got. And looks like his is the same. So they stopped transmitting. Bummer. Haley, where's that at? Opeliki. Is that a town? Oh, Alabama. Let's see where that's at. Oh, you're way up there. Is that Alabama? Right on the edge. Is it? Where's it at? Right there. Alabama. Okay. Monday. Well, you definitely right on the edge. Timing. Monday. It's going to be close. Might be rainy. You're going to be on the... You might be far enough away. I think you'll be fine. It's not going to be bad. I think you'll be all right. That's my gut. I think you'll be all right. Got your Louis mug. Oh, cool, man. Cheers to Louis. There's Louis. You can follow Louis on Instagram. Christy, Dustin, you're going to have spotty off and on rains later in the week. Our front's going to maybe stall out. So, not a washout, but definitely a little higher chances for rains as our front kind of stalls. So the same front that's pulling away Cristobal is actually going to come back down. So here's some Louis pictures. Yeah, I'm a weird dad. Let's look at a couple of funny ones. So I bought him this Adirondack chair set on Amazon. Look at it. He didn't like it, but he sat there. So I told you this dog will do anything. If there's any marketing people out there, he'd be the new Spuds McKenzie. I'm telling you what. Tell somebody at Miller Lite, America needs a new Spuds McKenzie. We need an American dog representing beer. So there's our Easter Bunny pose. There was one day at the softball field. That was his birthday. He was hot. We got him a little baby Yoda. There's a cool classic pose. He liked carrots, so one day I put carrots in, and he became Fang Louie. Nothing's there. All right, there's Beach Louie. What was over here? Oh, there's Louie reading the paper, eating muffins, drinking coffee. Believe it or not, this is like one take. This dog is the most photogenic dog ever. There's Valentine's Day, Louie. There's my Mustang, Louie. I'm the only one with a Ford Mustang with an Earnhardt tag. I bought an RC truck for Louie. And within 5 minutes, I got Louie to ride the RC truck. Look at this. Here he comes. He's like, what the hell? What's this thing doing? Look. So if you want to surf in Louie, there's your guy, man. You can train him. Look. Look at. Then he kind of slipped a little bit, and I got worried, but he hung on, man. It's fun, man. So any other funny one? There's New Year's Louie. Look at that. I got them all decked up. I hate little dogs. That's the joke. Oh, look at this one. This is a funny one. This is Leaping Louie. It's my mom and dad's house. Whoa! He could be like a Spider or Superman Louis. There's Thanksgiving. There's Natalie Decker. That was our kissing booth at Talladega. There's Emily. We had a little Humane Society booth set up. Kissing Louis. Had to kiss Louis. There's Halloween Louis. Okay, enough about Louis. Oh my God, I know. So now we got a new dog coming. And yeah, Rusty, listen. Rusty was blind. We did all this stuff with Rusty the first 7 years. Then he got blind. So, you know, he lived a good life. So anyway, what else are we talking about? Rain, yep, rain. Florida rains are definitely more than expected. For sure, I'm up to 1.7 inches today already. That's a lot. And more coming. So we got a new update coming. So I need to get off and upload this thing. So all these little pockets of rain are moving north. Again, we're going to have a secondary setup of rain showing up with our tail. So could be a brief break early afternoon here. But don't let that fool you. There's a lot of juice out there. And there'll be more building. And then we'll watch our tails. Watch your tail. So, hey, Casper, have a great day, buddy. I saw all your stuff about Kay and the weather news. That's great, man. I love that she loves weather. Make sure you check out Casper and Kay's global database of weather stations from around the world. So, great resource. We used it for Mexico. So, the next time we have a storm, we'll be able to click on it when it's not around the U.S. and check things out. I bet you Yucatan still... well, we can look at radar on the other side of Yucatan, I think. Let's see what pops up here. Oh, this one's Belize. Oh, you'll see it. It's on the... I don't know if we got radar there or not, though. I don't think they have radar. Holy cow, I got some windows open now. Their radar's down. Blue means radar. I don't think this is going to go over on the east side. Nope. So anyway, that's it. Great picks. Thanks, Cindy. Rain gauge. Yep. Need a boat. Need an arc. Yep. We're excited. We've been talking about it for a long time. Cool beans. All right. Well, hey, listen. You guys are awesome. Maintained about 1,000. That's pretty cool. Later Gators. It makes sense. Weather Channel always has some great graphics too. Let's look real quick. There's our look again. So big old sloppy mess here. We're going to get a new update. The Hurricane Hunters data transmission seems to be failing, so we don't have any recent data. Maybe we can get a Dvorak estimate somewhere right here. Current analysis. Oh man, they're behind 998. So that's good. At least it's not lower. And there you go. All right, cool, man. Thank you, everybody. I see my app. I got a couple new app people during the show. Remember, I do have an app. I try to keep it updated with good stuff, a little different, and trying to help people with that get set up. So it's pretty cool. So all right, have a great day, y'all. Might be live later tonight. We will announce for Stephanie Stokes if she's here. Power outages, yeah, let's take a look at that. Good point. We're going to look at that. Weather Channel always does good with power outages maps. It's going to be a likely scenario. I wonder why they haven't posted it yet. Here's the current watches and warnings. So the watches extend. That's a great graphic. I need to post that one. I love it. I love inland warnings, especially with hurricanes. Too much focus is on the coast. They never show you inland at all. So very important. That's one change I wish the NHC would do. 2 changes I think would be awesome. So we saw it with Michael in different storms and hurricanes, but sometimes these watches and warnings will extend well inland, and you don't see that. You don't see that on the traditional NHC graphics. This is all you see. You don't see inland. So I would love to see colors extended past the coast. And the second thing I'd love to see is when we have a landfall, we have a developing hurricane, and we don't have a point at 1 p.m. Sunday. We have, let's say, 1 a.m. Sunday, and then here they never show you landfall miles an hour. It might say 60 here, 45 here, but it will never show you if the storm was strengthening. It actually could be 75 here. Not a big thing, but I think it'd be cool if they had a landfall estimate for winds versus their normal 12-hour increments. So two things I've always lobbied for is a landfall miles per hour and then showing inland stuff. So, and then I lost Weather Channel. Oh, there we go. All right, so nothing yet. Why don't we have, there's flood alerts. Look at that. Flood alerts. Everybody in the southeast. So yeah, no power outage maps yet. So I'll look for one. All right, so there you go, Stephanie. Yeah, we'll go early just for you. I like the Weather Channel. A lot of people don't. I think they do a good job. I think they're stuck because they have to do commercials. They have to do local on the 8s. They have to do TV programs. So when they do have weather, it's good. That's a good shot, too, by the way. Look at that. Big, ugly system. Look at that. Totally void of convection in the center. That dry air is definitely going to choke some. So some of these higher resolution models are definitely showing rain around the center. But it'll be interesting if that actually happens or not. So, all right, I've done enough. Yeah, my pool's overflowing, Karen. Already. I already got water. Drains are inching up to the door. Knock on wood, we've never had it come into the door, but we've had a lot of rain here. Need a little break, let it drain a little bit. Hey, Cindy, yep. Bill, yeah, I guess I've heard that a lot, Bill. Hey, Loretta, what's cooking? You're welcome. I know you're a big fan. I appreciate it. I like you. Hey, Ryan, what's up? Yep, Classic Weather Channel. Remember Schwartz? Dave Schwartz? That was fun, man. I remember growing up to that. Another thing, I love, all right, so Jim Cantori and Stephanie Abrams share a lot of our stuff, and they like our page, which is great. But they have so many different meteorologists come and go. Maybe that's a little bit, it's kind of like NASCAR, you used to love your drivers. They all have their personality. So Schwartz, and you had that, Jim Hope, Bob Hope. I don't know, you just had you guys that you liked, and they talked freely, and they talked maybe off cuff. Maybe today's meteorologists are just too robotish. You're young, trying to do a good job. They say the same things, So maybe we need more drunk donkeys in the world. Right. Yeah, a lot of rain, Ryan, everywhere, man. Mike Bettis is another good one, yeah. He's still on there, but you missed it. That's right, because you're probably on Verizon. Weather Nation's pretty good. I guess. I don't know any other Mets. Matthew, I believe it. I mean, it would be the most ugliest Cat 1 hurricane on the planet. But if the pressure drops a little bit more, then the winds might catch up. You could have hurricane force winds around the center with very little storms. But again, the effects are going to be the same regardless. Especially the effects east of center. Theoretically, the center could be a category 2. The effects of not this storm. This storm's not going to be a category. But I'm saying, even if it was a category 2, the squall to the east is going to be the same regardless. So the only effect we would see is if this thing strengthened a little bit, would just be a little bit more core impacts. So that would mean a little more surge and obviously a little more winds. So if the storm strengthens, it won't necessarily be anything to the east side. It's just going to be around the core, and that would just increase the surge chances a little bit. Maybe a little more thunderstorms, if it can wrap around the core. And that's going to be the big question because it looks pretty sloppy right now. And you just got to watch these things in real time. That's the way the tropics work, man. A little bit of convection. I'm watching for lightning. Nothing. Little bit of convection to the south side. This is on weathernerds.org, by the way. Tropical Tidbits has another great satellite imagery on his page too. You can look here too. So both of them have great stuff. There's a huge eye. So if this thing were to wrap around, if this convection were to continue to come around, it could have a little brief window of strengthening right before landfall. So things happen. The shear is expected to be light ahead of it. Watched that last night, but upper level winds are definitely decreasing here. This is current shear. It's the last little less. So the only negative factor it has right now is the forward speed, meaning time, and the dry air. So yeah, it's got a window of shear, but the dry air is going to be that's a lot of dry air on the east side. So, but yeah, I think it's legit. I think it does have a chance to strengthen a little more. I don't know what that means, Mary, but you rock. Updated my app. Free 500. I don't know. Is that stars? Yeah, thanks, Whitney. No, man, you guys, I ramble on. There's a lot of people that do what I do. I feel helpful that, number one, the website is it. The website I update. So luckily, a lot of people rely on the website, which is good. So I can't always post 24 hours a day, and I hate it sometimes, but I keep the website rolling with links, and we got the support of Weather Nerds and Tropical Tidbits letting me link their stuff. Of course, big news this week, National Weather Service listed us as a kind of a reliable weather source, which was really humbling. So they know that I'm linking their stuff. They approve of it, which is cool. Southwest Water Management knows that we link their stuff. I've had folks from NASA send me water maps. NOAA folks email me a lot, so it's great to know that the source is being used a lot. So, and I do talk a lot, so I love it. I love it. There we go. So there's the water map. So anyway, Martha, you're right. Allman Brothers. My brother partied with the Allman Brothers. We lived in Bradenton, and apparently they hung out in Dwayne Allman's garage, or Greg Allman, one of the two. I can't remember which one. Jenna, that's cool. Yeah, I don't know the stars. Hey, it's cool, man. I love it because anybody that follows me, 99% of our money goes to the kids. But hey, Emily was triple honor roll for her school. She had dean's list a few times, but I guess they averaged the year. And hey, so why not spoil your kids? Right. Cool, Steven. Dickie Betts. Yeah, man. Cool movie. It's called Almost Famous. All you rockers that grew up. It's like my favorite movie. It's called Almost Famous, about a kid that toured with a 70s rock band, and it was really good. So anyway, thank you, Elizabeth. All right, I'm gonna roll. So we got a new NHC update coming real soon. I'm gonna try to upload this real quick and see where we're at. And oh, cool, Kendall. That's great to hear. The beer, I know. I emailed them. They have not wrote me back. Troubled Waters. I hope they're doing okay. I haven't been by there. Big Storm reached out. I'm hoping that they can put something together. Big Storm Brewing. The marketing people there emailed me a couple times. They're busy making hand sanitizer, which is great. But ABC acted like they would help stock it. So I would love to have that. So fingers crossed on the beer. That is a great movie, Karen. So, all right, thanks everybody. Thanks Katie. Thank everybody. We'll see you soon. Maybe we'll do one later tonight. And of course, We got no softball, so I'll probably be blowing up your Facebook with weather stuff. So we'll see you. Peace.